Happy Friday, everybody. We're very excited. We have a special guest with us today, Luca. She was the winner of our scholarship. And I thought I would bring her in today to add a little bit more zest and character to my very boring Dietitian Life last week. And I think it would be really, really good to be able to get a lot of student perspective. Certainly what Tyson and I talk about are from our experiences over time. Obviously, we were students at some given point, but we certainly know that a lot of our viewers and certainly you guys are students, and so we would like to obviously get somebody in that has very recent experience as a student and is soon to graduate, soon to finish up, which is very, very exciting. And Luca and I were just talking a little bit about what her experiences with placement have been, and certainly we've already identified some things that she really was passionate about. So I thought what we would do today, just to change it up a little bit, is do a little bit of a Q&A with Luca to see what her experience has been, and hopefully you guys can either associate with it or go, oh god damn it, I wish I had that placement versus the one that I got. So, Luca, tell us a little bit about what your standard week on placement was. So where did you actually go?
So first up, I went to Rockhampton Base Hospital for my food service prep.
Cool. And
then I went to Apuna Cape York Health Council.
Can you say that like 10 times over?
Apuna Cape York Health Council. It's a tongue twister. So I went to Apuna for 6 weeks for my community public health nutrition placement. And that involved a 2-week stint out in a remote Indigenous community. And
did you stay out there?
Yes, 2 weeks.
Right. Where did you actually stay?
So we got this awesome kind of beach house on the coast, right up in the Cape. Yeah, we stayed there as supervisors.
So you didn't have to pitch tents or anything like that?
No, not that. Really nice. Really nice accommodation. So that was Cairns, and then I did 10 weeks for clinical placement. So we broke it up. We did 5 weeks at a health clinic in Brisbane. And then 5 weeks at the Prince Charles Hospital doing my clinical inpatient.
So how did you cope with all that? Obviously you won our scholarship, which was super exciting. How did you end up using that money?
So I decided to open up a little separate bank account for professional development. That money in there. And so I've just been chipping away at the webinars, the DAA symposium coming up, those types of things. So
fantastic.
I try and use it for important things.
So you didn't obviously need it for placement per se?
So I guess knowing that we were going to have a really expensive year in 4th year, I've had 3 years to work hard and save up as much as I can to kind of support myself for that 10-week period. And I'm really lucky that I get to live at home, so I don't have that additional cost of rent on me. So I just decided to stick to the uni student budget and use that money for professional development, because I know that stuff is really expensive.
So if you can tell anyone that's in their first couple of years, obviously what you did was very considered and very thorough. You obviously knew from the outset that it was going to be hard. So did you end up setting aside an additional bank account similar to what you've done and actually started to pour money into that?
Yes.
Okay, did you spend it on holidays or cafes or...
All of that balance. There's been definitely, a few holidays in there. I've definitely still enjoyed all of that. I haven't felt deprived, but over the course of the 3 years, I have worked quite a bit. And especially over the Christmas break when you have that big kind of 3-month period. I get a lot of hours over Christmas, so just being able to really save and put some money aside for 4th year. Because I knew I did want to do some of those away from kind of Brisbane placements, which we had to fund ourselves. So Rocky and Cairns were self-funded.
Yeah, absolutely. So you didn't go anywhere further down south, you all went to north?
No, just north.
So could you see yourself working out there after you finished?
Potentially. I loved it. I think I would really miss my family, but such a good experience. I really did enjoy working at Apuna.
So what would, so say for example in those 2 weeks that you were at Apuna, what did those days and weeks actually look like?
They were very different to life down here in Brisbane. I think everything is there's no structure, everything's really fluid, there's no real kind of meeting times. It's very kind of, we think we want to see these people on these days, but it just kind of, you had to roll with the flow.
And so how did your dietetics brain deal with that?
Really well, actually. One thing I actually am pretty good at, just going with it and seeing how things pan out.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Oh, look, yeah, I mean, a lot of students probably would have had a meltdown over that. But okay, yeah, so there was not really any scheduled appointments or anything like that. So you guys woke up in the morning, and did you go somewhere and meet with anyone, or would it be like, oh, we'll see you whenever throughout the day?
Generally, like, to put it in context, we were piloting some resources for the Rethink Sugary Drink campaign they were doing.
Okay.
So we had these resources. We wanted to get some feedback from community members on what they thought of them. So we got a big plate of food and we went and sat under a mango tree and we just waited. And people approached and we had a yarn and it was really good. And that's kind of what the days look like. There was no set structure. It's a very different life out there.
Yeah, right.
Very slow pace.
So you had to have food and then just wait.
Yeah.
Sort of like an animal just kind of waiting for its prey type of thing.
Food brings everyone together. As soon as you've got food, people are interested in what you have to say.
Okay. All right, good. Excellent. No, I think that's a really good start. And your final placement was in Brisbane?
Yeah, so my final placement was at the health clinic and at the Prince Charles Hospital.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So out of each of your placements, which one did you find most challenging, personally, professionally?
I actually found food service the most challenging. I think probably a combination of it was my first ever placement. It was away from home, and food service probably isn't my calling. So it was just, I think, a combination. Yeah, being away from home, it was intense. It was a big project.
Yeah.
And I just felt so overwhelmed the whole time. Yeah.
And what was the project?
So I had 2 projects. I guess they were supposed to be mini projects, but I can't do things, by halves. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it well. So I probably did that to myself. I did a patient satisfaction survey.
Yeah, we've got
and
a lot of
then
those.
I did the review of their renal dialysis and pre-dialysis menus, which also involved a review of their standard menu because I hadn't been updated for a while. So a couple menu reviews.
Yeah, and so did you use software and put them all through that?
Yeah, food service, Food Works.
Yeah.
And then I contacted all of the suppliers to be able to get their nutrition breakdowns because most of the time they don't have potassium and phosphorus on the nutrition panel they provide to the hospitals.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Well, look, I was up till midnight doing a menu analysis, actually, come to think of it. So I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the most challenging. Do you think it was because it was your first or just because it wasn't your jam?
A bit of both, yeah. I think, and just not knowing what to expect with placement and being away from home, I think it was just the combination of it all was just a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and there was a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of numbers. I'm not great at that.
Okay. So what about the most enjoyable placement?
It's a toss-up between the CANS one. CANS was a fantastic experience, and also the clinical one because clinical is probably what I actually want to do in dietetics as opposed to the community stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of uni in general, if you were to give some first and second years some advice around what to expect, what they should be doing, any sort of words of wisdom coming at the end of it, the pointy end now?
Yeah, a couple things that I think are good to know. If you haven't already started saving for placement, start saving.
Yeah, we've had that one. Yeah.
And definitely put your hand up and volunteer to be sent away from home for at least one of your placements. If you go to QUT and they're still doing a PIMA, volunteer for that. It's awesome. But any kind of placement where you can get out of Brisbane and just experience a different way of life, I think is really valuable.
Yep, cool.
The other thing I would suggest is something that I wish I could have done is if you haven't already, try and get out there and experience sort of what dietitians actually do because you don't really get to see that until 4th year unless you go out and approach dietitians and ask to shadow or do some work experience. And I think, you really need to see that before you get to 4th year. Otherwise, you might get to the end of the 4th year and realise you don't even want to do this anymore.
Yep.
Which I think some people do.
Yeah, I think that's really valuable. When I was studying, actually, we had placement from the very beginning.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah. So a word of note to all of those unis out there, I think maybe a change in structure might be a really good idea. So we had 2 weeks at the beginning in first year, and then it was about three or four, and then in our last year, obviously that's when we had our biggest amount. We had 2 placements, but yeah, certainly even in those, you only really get a taster. But I think it's really good to get your hands in and try it before. We had a lot of people drop out after the first couple of years just because they identify that it wasn't for them. You can imagine what sort of stress that's going to create for someone who's been through 3 or 4 years worth and then decide at the end, actually, no, this is not for me. Did you have many people actually change their mind at the end?
Not that I know of. I think there might have been a couple from the last cohort, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's a long haul. You wouldn't want to pull the pin at the end.
Yeah.
All right, cool, excellent. In terms of what your thoughts are for the end of the year, what are you going to do?
I'm going to try and get a job, Peter. So I've got a little mini holiday booked for when I finish my last exams. Go to Bali for a week and relax. Go to Bali, come back, work as much as I can over Christmas in retail, and then start looking for jobs.
Perfect. Have you applied for anything yet?
I haven't yet, no. There's been a couple come up that I've thought, should I apply? But just with assignments and stuff at the moment, I've decided to just focus on passing and getting my degree, and then I've got, time to apply later.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that, Luca. I certainly value your experience, and I think that everybody can attest to how difficult those last couple of years can be, and particularly when you're on placement as well. So, sweet. So that is the end for Dietitian Life.